Rick Horrow here at the Sloan MIT conference, and this is normally reserved, and I mean this respectfully, I really do, as a sports lawyer, does a Harvard thing. This is usually the two-day Geek Fest. Today, it might be, but that's not what you're going to hear for the next 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you that this is all about business, and it's all about how you deal with business issues. And one of the fundamental things about it is how you protect the important component. We're all here, and everybody's talking about getting a job or doing a job, but people wouldn't be here but for the first-class athletes who perform at a level beyond anybody else. Marcus Lattimore, how are you, man?
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me have you. And the other thing about this, which is important, is, I don't know if we can see it, but this is Marcus Lattimore's picture. He was drafted in the 4th round by the Niners. We'll go through that story. Look at him today. Look at this. That's a businessman. That is a businessman. I don't know about that. I don't know about that picture. That's a football drafted, ready to go picture. You're smiling.
That's a guy who, his whole life, he wanted to be in the NFL, and he had to put on this certain persona.
Yeah.
All right. That this is how you look in the NFL, and that guy, he's long gone.
He's long gone.
He's long gone.
You can tell he's long gone because that guy. And the splendor of that guy, that's two different things, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like a Gamecock. He is a Gamecock. So Burns High, Duncan, South Carolina, obviously the best football player at the time coming out of South Carolina, ESPN's National High School Football Player of the Year. You've seen these stats for so long, 2008, ready to be drafted in the 1st round. Why don't you tell the story, then what happened?
Yeah, so my whole life, you know, I worked for that moment. My junior year, I have an opportunity to go play for the University of South Carolina. My last year, I know it's my last year, and I'm destined for greatness. You know, I have a lot of great people in my circle.
And that's not arrogant, that's confidence.
That's just confidence. Yeah. And that's just everything that I put into it, because I knew I worked hard and I was able to come back from that first knee injury. And then the 9th game of the year rolls around, October 27, 2012. We're playing Tennessee, one of our rivals in the SEC, and I dislocate my right knee, tear every ligament, my calf muscle, my hamstring. I have nerve damage. I'm rushed to the hospital because there's a possibility I might lose my leg. Now, at that point in my life, football was irrelevant. Yeah. I just wanted to walk again. I just wanted to run again. And those were the thoughts that went through my mind. And when you go through adversity like that, when you go through an injury like that, it changes your perspective on the way you see things, on the way you see life.
How quickly did it change your perspective? You're sitting there on the field, you're going to the hospital, and obviously you think about your own self-preservation. When does the reality of earning power, family money, building houses, issues about that, when does that all kick in?
When I couldn't feel my leg. I couldn't feel my leg from the knee down, and I'm, you know, rushing to get to the hospital that's about 5 miles away, and my family's a little distraught, and the coaches are distraught, and my teammates come visit me after the game. Luckily, we still win the game. My teammates come visit me after the game, and I'm, you know, pretty much just sitting in there, and I'm going to have a blank stare on my face because I really didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to walk again. That's all I could ever think about. And in that moment, football, like I said, it was irrelevant. And the only way I was able to get through that was because of my faith, and also because of the people who invested in me a long time ago, and the people who mean so much to me, who didn't want to see me give up. Those kids who are looking at me in South Carolina, they didn't want to see me give up. So I gave it one more shot.
Well, but also, you left out a piece, which is you're bright, intelligent, entrepreneurial, very self-confident. I don't know if you were always that way, but you had the assets to persevere.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's because of, for one, my education. Yeah. And for two, you know, a lot of guys from small rural towns, like I'm from, they don't receive the financial literacy. They don't receive the certain type of etiquettes that I received, because I had people in my life who were in good positions. Some guys who worked in corporate America that I looked up to, and I was able to shadow them, and I was able to see how you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis, and how you make it in this world. And I knew if football didn't work out, I'd still have an opportunity to be successful.
So how did you then take the next step of giving back, life after football, monetizing, creating a stable economic environment for your family? That's what this is all about.
Absolutely, and I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Financially, I was in a good place because I received a signing bonus from the NFL, from the 49ers. I received 2 years worth of salary. So when I walked away from the game, I was in a good position, but I knew I had to go back and get my degree. And I got my degree in public health. And during that transition, I really, I guess, seen how many people gravitated towards me and how many people were inspired by my story.
Interesting.
And because they were inspired by my story, I received a lot of speaking inquiries. So I decided to start a business. And that business is speaking engagements, it's appearances, it's football camps, it's everything that I do, but it's also making a difference in kids' lives.
But there's also a survivalist message to it. I mean, you've got a curriculum that is a special curriculum, but it's based on the personal history and the success and overcoming of Marcus Lattimore.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, the biggest thing that I want these kids to realize is that it may not happen for you. If it doesn't happen, you have a plan B. We're speaking of the NFL, speaking of the NBA, MLB, whatever you want to pursue in your life, you can do that. And football is that engine. That sport provides the hope, but the education secures that hope. And my foundation, we educate student athletes for life after sports. And that's what it's all about. At best, you'll play the game till you're 30 years old. You have 50 more years to live. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And that percentage that plays the game until they're 30 years old is microscopic.
Very
what do you
small.
do if you have a magic wand to change the economic system? The insurance issues, the transition issues, the education issues.
Right.
And the NFL has certain ways to do things and certain ways they don't. So how do we change the system?
That's a complicated question, but it's a great question.
And we have some time.
And it's something, it's an issue that everybody needs to be aware of. And, you know, when it comes to a guy, for instance, we just have to educate them on every single aspect of it. I mean, when there's a high-profile athlete who's coming out of college and he's presented with an insurance form,
right,
or something that ensures that he'll be financially secure, make sure he's informed, make sure he's educated on what he's signing. And right now, that's not the case because guys can't have legal representation.
Right.
And when you look at the insurance and the NFL and all the things, the facets that come through it, it boils down to one thing. It's education. It's education.
Yeah.
And the NFL PA, I think, is doing a great job with our rookies who come into the league. I think more colleges are investing a lot more into beyond sports. For example, Oregon State has a program who teaches every single guy that comes on the football team financial literacy and making sure they're prepared. So, I mean, we're going in the right direction, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Why is it a dirty little secret that not too many people talk openly about insurance premiums and boosters or athletic programs actually funding insurance premiums, because it is legal under NCAA rules? And why not, for people who were playing at your college level, make everybody aware of what is available and make the risk fall on the people that ought to fall on, not you?
Yeah, it's an issue that a lot of people don't want to talk about because there's money involved. There's finances involved.
Right.
And when we talk about money, that brings up a lot of problems. And, you know, when you look at that scope of the guys who are funding it and the insurance premiums and everything that comes in between that, I believe there should be a mandated protocol where every single kid who comes into your university or your college, they have an opportunity to learn this information and see the resources that they have available. Because there's money involved, because they only want to select those top tier, those few guys, it'll stay a secret until light is brought upon it.
And the secret implies that it's a bad thing. We're all, just to be clear, it's a easy financial transaction that's done all the time. It's just a question of who delivers the money to the athletic department, who then makes the decisions. Duke, for example, pays for those insurance programs as part of a whole deal during a one and done in basketball side. So 2 and done, 3 and done, the key for NFL is you're going to play your senior year. NBA, 1 and done or not. Obviously, all of those issues have to be collectively bargained with the union, but this whole idea of insurance premiums and assessing the risk certainly could make things a lot easier when somebody makes a decision to go pro or not after 2 years, 3 years, in the NBA after 1 year, don't you think?
I mean, absolutely. And I mean, when you're in the NCAA, I mean, the rule right now is you have to stay 3 years.
Yeah.
And just like you said, in the NBA, it's 1 year. But just making these guys aware of what's going on. I mean, just so they know. I mean, half the guys really don't know what's going on.
No, not half, more.
More.
Yeah.
More than half don't know the whole situation. And how we fix that, we have to educate them. Because, as you said, it's not, all of this is compliant.
5 years from now, what's next for Marcus Lattimore?
Great question. I still see myself in athletics. You know, I love the game of football. I love sports in general. Maybe I'll be somewhere in athletic administration. But what I've learned from life, what I've learned about life, is that you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can plan, you can prepare, you can be organized, and you can hope for the best. And that's what I'll do. I want to continue my career in athletics in some capacity. I love coaching. I love being around kids, and I love educating kids on issues that you bring to life. Yeah. So that's the plan. I don't know where they'll take me, but all I know is that whatever happens, I'll be prepared for it because I've seen it all.
Yeah. And I will tell you this. You'd have been a hell of a running back in the pros, but you're even a better human being with more to